Okay, Coach, go ahead and give us your thoughts overall on the game.
Yeah, first, what a showing by the community and the students to come out. I mean, I think to have that packed arena felt like there was not an open seat, and it was loud and carried us through. I felt like that impacts the game. That makes a 4-point swing into an 8-point swing, and you're trying to get organized as an opposing team and you can't hear. I thought that was fantastic, and it really impacted the game. But just proud of these guys. I mean, the second half, we kind of get down. We got down as much as 10, and to win by 12 was quite a swing. But we felt good. We had shots in the first half, and then we just needed to convert. And I thought second half we did that with much more better poise.
Coach, congrats on the win. In the first half, it was really tough to find some rhythm in the offense, but it seemed like the crowd really helped the team get back into that rhythm. Can you attest to that?
No question. I mean, I think that just anytime you can start creating some easy baskets, get a couple back-to-back scores, and I know these guys could probably agree, like, that feels good when all of a sudden you get a breakaway layup or a tough shot, and then that momentum starts building, and you can feel that. It's a feel-good feeling, which basketball's such a momentum sport.
Coach, this Utah Valley team was ranked number 1 in the WAC resume seedings. Can you describe the feelings of beating this number 1 team and just describe what it means to this team?
Yeah, I mean, that's a top 75 net team in the nation. I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, they are. I mean, you have 3 really good guards. You have multiple good bigs. I mean, they're deep. They're well coached. But you know what? But I believe that about us. I think we're pretty good, and I believe in these guys and believe in our preparation. If we're talking about it as a staff, I don't really get nervous before games and all that stuff. And this group is really easy not to, because we know they put the work in, right? They put the work in and they're ready. So there's nothing to raise, just get the ball in the air, let's go. We're gonna be fine. So it's a fun group to coach.
Coach, coming into the game, I noticed UVU runs a lot of high ball screens up there on the perimeter. How do you go about coaching you guys so that they don't get in foul trouble when that happens?
Yeah, we just got to show hands and slide, and they're really good at it. They're really good at it. But we made an adjustment at halftime. We tried something that was working for other teams, and to their credit, they were really trusting their big, and he was kind of getting behind us. And so we changed the coverage a little bit at halftime, and these guys executed it. And these guys are out here busting their tail. I hugged T, and I felt like I just got hit by a water hose. He probably lost 8 pounds in that game, and I know these guys play so stinking hard, and that's really the key to defending that.
How important do you think it was to get their double-digit lead to only 5 points going into half? And Tev, you hit that big 3 going into the break. I'm sure that was a motivation going into the locker room. You can go, Coach, and I kind of want to see what you say about that. Sorry, it was a double question.
Yeah, no, a huge momentum swing. Gosh, and when he got it too, I was like, I know what this is going to go. You don't miss those. You know what I mean? When there's a little bit of shot clock winding down or whatever, that's going to be a dagger. And so that was a great momentum swing for us, because knowing that we had the ball coming out of half, we go 2 for 1, which is always our strategy, and these guys executed it. Really, that whole sequence started at 50 on the clock. We get a bucket within 8 seconds, which what we need to do, guaranteeing that we're going to get the last possession. So we get 2 scores, the 5-point swing, and the ball after half, right? So there's some strategy to it, but all that strategies doesn't work unless you have studs like these guys to finish.
And then what do you? Yeah, I would just say, it was a slow start a little bit. Shots weren't really falling in the beginning. I just kind of stayed poised and trust my teammates. They found me late, and I was able to hit that big shot going into half.
Awesome. Coach and Drake, so it was 54 all. Drake went on a little personal 5-0 mini run there. How did that swing the momentum the other way? How big are those plays from Drake in that moment?
Yeah, well, he just put so much pressure. He's tough in those ball screens, and it's all connected, because they're not going to let T breathe, so you're not going to have that help defender, and you're not going to let Mays go get a free 3. So it all ties together, and then Drake takes advantage of the big, and he creates points, and we get him in rotation. We get 16 offensive rebounds. It's all tied together. These guys collapsing the defense, and it creates offensive rebound possibilities too.
Awesome. Drake, did you want to say anything about your little mini run there that helped the team out?
Yeah, I think that same thing that Coach said. It all comes down to all the little things that that people don't recognize. T barely see. He's got a guy in his face, butts the ball the whole game. That his guy can't help. He gets me easy layups. And then sending the Spurs, rolling hard, takes away my guy. I can step back and hit a big three for us. So it's a lot of trust that those guys have in me as a younger guy coming in, and I just take advantage of those guys giving me the trust.
Awesome. And then, Coach, it's been mentioned a little bit how you went on that miniature run right before halftime. What kind of adjustments did you make to stop their center, Aziz? I won't try the last name. Slaughter, but he was killing it in the first half. He did pretty much nothing in the second half. What kind of adjustments did you make on that?
Yeah, we tried something in the first half that obviously wasn't working. You know what I mean? And he was talented. He was getting, he was catching lobs and doing all these things. And so we just change it up. We were going to try to pressure him, take their spacing away a little bit, trust our guards. We were trying to take away the guards and not let them come off. But instead we said, well, let's let them come off. We're athletic too, and these guys had great ideas and said, hey, we can do this, and I trusted them, and they just played their hearts out and achieved it.
Talk about their pick and roll and how you defended it. How about your pick and roll? Drake and Spurs seem to have it going on the entire night, and you mentioned that they would sink off of, or they wouldn't sink off your guys, so leave a lane open, but still, that execution seemed to be working really well for you, Drake.
Yeah, I would say that the same thing. In practice, we work on pick and roll a lot. Coach Simon trusts me with the ball in my hands, and Spurs is just a very elite, big, I think probably the best big in the WAC. So when he sets those hard screens and he rolls hard, it's really hard for my guy to get around it, and then for the big, he's got to choose one. Either going to give up a dunk for Spurs or going to give up a layup. So Spurs does a lot for me. That opens a lot up for me. So that's how it works.
Tev, I want to ask you about that shot. It was your first three-pointer of the game at halftime. Like, does he say anything to you in the locker room, or does it just like
it's a
he knows that you're going to knock down shots in the second half?
Yeah, he kind of has that trust in me. We've been through this, 3 years going, so. That trust is good, and he knows I'm going to knock those shots down, so, yes, sir.
One last question for me. What difference between playing at home and playing on the road? I mean, not to put anything bad about last week, but just the difference of playing at home and playing on the road. What adjustment has to be made there to stay in this race that's now, once again, wide open in the WAC?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it just comes down to, staying healthy, staying fresh, and all that stuff. We had 2 games this week, and we had a tough one on Saturday, but it's tough. That's a tough trip. We traveled all day. Can't really practice. Had no shoot around because of a doubleheader and a 3 o'clock afternoon game. Those are tough ones, and you rely on having to make some shots there. But we don't see that a whole bunch. Our next Texas trip will be a little bit more natural, and then we'll also have a little bit more of a natural Wednesday, Saturday road swing here. So. But I mean, that's the breaks of the game, and it's a little bit of a scheduling issue. I would say more impacted that game than anything. Quite, not to make excuses for our guys, and I never will. Never like to, but I mean that's what it was. And I probably should have played our rotation a little deeper, but we're not worried about that. We've always been good on the road, and we don't care where we play. We like being the villain on the road too.
And sorry, one last question for both Drake and Tev. Coach already mentioned the atmosphere tonight was fantastic. I think I tweeted out that I wanted to see a sold out AFP seater, and talk about the atmosphere. It was really fantastic tonight.
Yeah, I think the student section and all the fans coming to pack it out, really helped with the momentum and stuff like that, especially when we were down, going on runs and things like that. And we got a good crowd. We got a good student base that loves basketball and loves to come see the show. So I think it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, same thing. Just second on what he said. We're just super grateful for everyone that comes out because, like he said, we get to put on a show for them, and it gets to a point in a game where sometimes you think about it and I think, oh yeah, we're playing for all these people. You're not just playing for yourselves. You're playing for your teammates. You're playing for your coaches. You're playing for your school. You're playing for you're representing the city. So when all those people come out and show love, it just makes you want to win that much more.
Tev, you had 6 rebounds tonight. What was your game plan at just getting the boards against their bigs?
Yeah, obviously they had the big 7-footer down there, and so I knew it was going to be important, for some of the guards and wings to kind of get in there and get some and help out. So that was a little bit of my focus, going in there and try to grab a few and help out the bigs.
Coach, one of the things you've talked about is just how special this group is, and everybody should come out and see them here in town when you can. Can you just talk about like the overall resiliency of this team to answer all the runs that they had for them to get up and
Yeah, I mean, these guys are mature and competitive. We recruit competitors, you know, and that's why like these two guys and me get along, right? I coach these two guys maybe as hard as anybody, maybe, you know, ever in my career, and because they're so competitive, and I know that fire can come out of them, but that I think this group that shows competitors never quit. Like these guys are gonna be successful in life, whatever it is, because they're never gonna quit. They control their attitude and effort in every situation, and it's like, all right, we're moving on to the next play. You know what I mean? And you know, you can kind of see they're able to snap out of stuff. They're able to stay positive and pick each other up when one's down. And it's a special group, right? You don't get this very often, and I don't take it for granted either.
I got one last question for Tev. Late in the second half, you had the ball coming in from the right side. 7-footers coming at you, 10 footers coming at you. Were you thinking dunk in that moment, or was it just make a bucket? Because it looked like you were ready to throw down.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit of both because the lane was so open, and they did rotate over fast. So like I kind of had to adjust midair, but you know I kind of work on that. So.
Coach, you're now halfway through conference play. How would you evaluate your team through these first 9 games?
Yeah, I mean, you're 7-2, and you're a game out of first. You know, you've had to play a lot of the upper tier teams already, but the whole WAC is upper tier. If we're being honest, I mean, we're in that dogfight every night. So, but I mean, we're just game by game. You know, we're looking at the big picture. We want to cut nets down. We want to go to the tournament. We want to do all the things that we were set out to do. We just want to win the next game. That's the reality of this deal. Is we just want to win the next game.
All right, Coach, any last thoughts for us?
Go Birds.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys.